Pecha Kucha 236, Starscream and his toys. So I made a snap decision early in the week. I'm going to draw a Transformers picture, and it's going to be intentionally complex with the hope of trying to achieve something I could be proud of. My mileage might vary. I wanted to do something with Starscream. I ran through a few ideas. Most of the memes, I mean, that's why I picked Starscream. I feel like he's the most flexible character in the franchise for applying comedy to. But the thing about any Transformer I try to draw is the more I draw them, the more I realize that I don't know how to draw them. So I want to keep this close to the cartoon version from the 80s. So I Googled the 80s cartoon version of Starscream, which is the one I typically try to draw. And then I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is the shape of his head. We can worry about everything else after that. And I deduce, especially from the different frames from the cartoon where his head is not the same, that what I want to do is be consistent within the image, creating forms that seem appealing without worrying about if they're actually accurate. So then I decided to go with my original idea, which was he's going to be playing with a couple of action figures. Originally, they were going to be G.I. Joe, because Cobra Commander and Starscream's voice actor are the same person. So I like the idea of him playing with a toy of Cobra Commander, doing the voice that Cobra Commander has. I could have put it on YouTube and voiced it. If I could do a Chris Latta impression, of course. But so after kind of drafting out the broad shapes and the composition, then I had to actually figure out the face and then the helmet and then how to give them a certain amount of form. And then the rest of him, I think the idea is just don't draw anything that looks like it's obviously wrong. Keep certain parts, anything that's supposed to be symmetrical, keep it parallel and keep it, where it's supposed to be. Don't worry too much about if everything is kind of not like any picture of him you've ever seen. And same thing with Soundwave, Shockwave, and Megatron. Soundwave and Megatron. Megatron's pretty fucking hard to draw, especially the shape of his helmet. Different people approach it in different ways. It looks pretty good there because I just decided this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to try and just make it aesthetically pleasing. And then I kind of U-turned on the toys Starscream's playing with and went for He-Man and Skeletor. Why? I don't even know why. I think because I'm just, it's just 80s kitsch and I'm like, fuck it. So it's in red because it's, it's a foreground element and it's very complicated, and I just need to keep it separate from Starscream, which is also complicated. So this is kind of the composition going forward. I don't really want to dwell too much on the Decepticon base behind the three characters. So after establishing what I feel is a pretty robust understanding of the forms, then it's about trying to actually clean up the line work. I'm using the dark pencil in Clip Studio Paint. It's I feel it gives me reasonable line work, very, very, dense lines without punishing me as much as the G Pen does when it comes to applying the wrong amount of pressure. So third layer of drawing all the characters. Now I'm actually trying to get a little bit of accurate character reference, so I start Googling He-Man and Skeletor, and it reminded me that there's a version of Skeletor from my childhood who talks like Jeff Goldblum, I remember. Not quite true, but I went looking for him on YouTube, and he's got one hell of a laugh. I ended up watching a compilation of this guy just doing laughs from the TV show, and that ended up with me actually deciding to go and watch the TV show. My favourite episode so far is where Skeletor mind controls various characters in the show, and then all of the other voice actors start doing their Skeletor laughs. And I'm dying. This is not a good cartoon, but god damn if it doesn't have its moments. It's the greatest cheesy garbage I think I've ever seen. And I actually initially had that playing in the background while I was continuing to work on my image, so it ultimately became too distracting. So here I am again trying to get Megatron a bit more accurate, He's wondering why Starscream is making weird noises, because, well, obviously he can't see what Starscream is doing, while Soundwave is giving him some kind of tactical rundown of something no doubt important. So I feel like this is shaping up very nicely, but I got sidetracked towards the end of the week when I got a phone call from the HMRC, and I spent half a day trying to figure out from the voicemail that was left whether it was fraudulent or not. I was led to believe from the nature of the voicemail that it was probably real, but they typically don't contact you unless you owe them money, which is kind of troublesome. I would have loved a second form of correspondence, but you know what? I've been getting fake HMRC emails for as long as I've had an Outlook account, which has got to be over a decade from now, so it's not like I can trust an email from them. It is April. It is the start of a new tax year. There are reasons they would want to contact me if they wanted to keep accurate records. I was considering maybe they wanted to talk to me about my pension situation because allegedly I owe money for certain years that have gaps in them. But they've never contacted me about that in the past. I did actually receive a letter from them yesterday that told me what this was about, and it's bullshit. It doesn't matter. But that really kind of threw me for a loop towards the end of the week. I did not want to be working on Starscream while worrying if I'm owing money to the government in a way that I can't fucking figure out how, at a time where I have no income. But yeah, so this is where we are. This is me with all the underdrawings turned off. This is the tight pencil work at the top. I think He-Man and Skeletor are as good as I want to get them. I've got to continue working on Starscream's body, reference Megatron and Soundwave properly, try and put in as much work as I can into the base. It is my intention to work on this next week, but I still do need to talk to HMRC. They said they'd phone back on Monday, so I might spend half of next Pecha Kucha talking about how bureaucracy's a motherfucker, like anybody didn't know that, but whatever, we'll see. That's the end of Pecha Kucha 236, and I'll see you next time.